y'all, Mallory here with 5 Academy, and I'm going to tell you 8 do's and don'ts for the science section of the ACT. Do have some background knowledge in science. So many people are going to tell you that you don't need any background information to understand the section. And for the most part, that's totally true. But there's going to be a handful of questions that are going to test your prior knowledge. And that's the difference in a few points if you only need to go from like a 31 to like a 33. And so basic information in genetics, chemistry, biology, math, physics, anything like that. You don't necessarily have to have taken the class before or even know a great deal about it. Just basic knowledge, basic vocabulary, things like that. And so focus on that when you're studying. Do understand the 3 types of passages that are going to be asked about on the science section. So there's going to be research summary, data representation, and conflicting viewpoints. So for data representation, it's going to be graphs, pie charts, anything of that nature. So look for variables and look for trends. Those are going to be key to answering questions of these passages. Research summary is going to be having one or more experiment, looking at the data of that, looking at the method, the purpose, the results, how they came to this conclusion, why they came to this conclusion. Look at similarities and differences if they give you 2. Notice the significance of the similarities and differences. These are all key factors that could be asked about once you get to the questions. And then conflicting viewpoints. Take this as you would the reading section if it was a passage A and a passage B. So it's going to give you 2 sets of data usually, or 2 experiments, very similar, testing different hypotheses. So look at what variables are the same, what variables are different, what's their control, what's not. Take a lot of notice to different details, and I like to underline them. I don't have a highlighter, but I underline, and I just focus on what's different, what's the same, and if they're testing the same thing. Noticing all of these things and understanding what kind of passage you're going to be asked about is key to understanding the science section. Don't wait till the night before to start studying for this section. So this section, like the others, is no joke when it comes to time. You're going to have 5 to 6 minutes per experiment to understand everything that's going on and answer the questions associated with it. So understanding timing of this section is key. Whenever you get to practice this, it'll make it so much easier for test day, especially since a lot of the section is like reading. It's like the strategy you use to approach each type of passage. And so it's key to start soon. Do refer back to the passage. So like I said earlier, there is going to be some background information you need for this section, but for the most part, it is like the reading section where you can just look at the passage and all of the information that they're asking you about is going to be in there. Do use common sense from previous science classes. So for this section, if you can't find it in the passage or you don't already know the answer because it's not testing previous knowledge, then go on and rule out blatantly wrong answers. And this can be said for the entire ACT, but especially in this section, if you're struggling to find the answer, you don't understand the data, and you're running out of time, start ruling out what it can't be, and then take an educated guess. Don't waste time. So flip through the sections, find a passage that has the main point very evident in it, and start answering those. So most people find the main point easiest whenever it's in graph or short answer form. And so look for these kind of questions. Answer them precisely and quickly. Also, if you get stuck on something, move on to the next section. You'll hear this a million times whenever you're prepping to take the ACT, but it is so true and it saves so much time to just move on, come back to it later. Because, hey, you might be able to answer the next set of questions so much easier, but if you waste too much time on that one question, you might not have time to. Do know your vocabulary. So for this section, scientific topics often have certain vocabulary that they use to describe a process or a topic, like the scientific method. A lot of people don't know the definition for scientific method or the steps in the scientific method, but these are important things to know because they might ask you what step of the scientific method is this testing in the experiment. Things like that. Understanding different vocabulary is great before you take the science ACT. So brush up on those weeks in advance. Start memorizing as many as you can just to understand the general questions that they ask you and help you to fly through this section easier. Don't get too bogged down by the big words of this section. So this section might ask you about a lot of crazy diseases or different things going on in the real world that you might not have any background knowledge on, but everything you need to know is gonna be in that passage. You don't have to know everything about one disease just because it mentions it in the passage. Like I said, it's gonna give it to you. But instead, focus on the experiment itself. Why they came to this conclusion, why they're doing this research, what methods, purpose, results, anything like that. Focus on those things, and it's going to help answer these questions, and it'll help you from getting distracted and hyperfixating on this one word. Thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and check out our website, link down below.